Hello friends, in this video, I'll tell you stories from Reddit that will give you goosebumps. What would you do if a grizzly bear decided to stalk you for hours in the middle of nowhere? Many years ago, I was a wilderness guide in the Rocky Mountains in the Peace Reach region of northern BC, Canada, working at a very remote lodge. The nearest town was a 3-hour drive and a lot of that was unpaved logging roads. Once had a great horned owl drag a bloody hair across the windshield while driving back up to the lodge. Cool moment. Richer guests could helicopter in and we offered hella hiking on surrounding peaks. It was one of only 2 places in the world that you could cross the continental divide by water. 10,000-year-old aspen forest, rugged and remote country. Towards the end of the summer, I had a stretch of luck that had me almost die 3 times in 3 days. It started snowing soon after and I promptly quit and flew out. The place had all the makings of a shining style winter and I wasn't having any of it. This story is about the second near miss. On the rare days that no guests were booked, I would wander into the back country. I don't like people much and I certainly didn't care for the lodge owners or staff at that point. My feelings in that particular area were reciprocated with enthusiasm and clarity of message. I was bouldering, free climbing solo, with a light pack and some camera gear. I was just pulling myself up onto the top of a peak I had been wanting to check out. I had seen a body of water on it while flying over a few times, which meant there was a good chance to get some nice wildlife pics. Counting cliffs and slopes, and assorted other momentum-enhancing topography, there was about a 500-foot drop below me. Hot day, hard but straightforward climbs, broken up into stages, and a new mountaintop view. Zero troublemakers. Great day. So, I'm a bit tired, probably heat-stroked and dehydrated. Excited and not as focused as I should be in the moment. I popped up over the top of the ridge line and something big was there, maybe 10 or 15 feet in front of me, and neither of us was expecting the other. It jumped and a whole lot of forest moved with it. I jumped too, backwards. Life got real exciting for several seconds. Bricks were rapidly shivered. In due time, I was gratefully laying face down and exhausted, but back on top of the ridgeline again. I was also quite pleased to note that, despite my best efforts, I had neither tumbled off a mountain nor been attacked, 2 major life goals achieved. Whatever it was, had loudly and indignantly stormed off down a game trail, while I was vigorously debating with gravity and friction. From the noise, and what I caught of the size, I figured grizzly or moose. Neither option was great, but I was too tired to descend the way I came. My new friend was now ahead of me if I walked down using said game trail, suboptimal, so I went up, as originally planned, to the water. Needed to refill and rest anyways and, if something furry wanted to adjust my life expectancy, it could do it once I had checked out the view. I had definitely earned it. Besides, Lady Fuzzy Britches had last been observed a while ago at this point, heading elsewhere with vigor. Lovely spot. Well worth the climb and the abject terror. Nice little pond, just below the alpine, so visibility was good, and I was so high up that I could see over the mountains on the far side of the lake down way below. It was one of those reality-bending high places, where the world seems to wrap up into the sky above you, like you're standing at the bottom of a gravity well. Took some very nice pictures and a heartfelt sigh. After an hour or so I decided it was time to head down. Was going to be racing daylight by the time I got back down to the valley floor, with another hour or so to the lodge itself, and I figured the Bigfoot or whatever had plenty of time. I jollied along over to the edge of the clearing, near the start of the aforementioned cliffside game trail. That's when I saw it, unmistakable, big old fresh grizzly print, near the edge of the tree line, in the wet lakeside soil, and still slowly filling with water. Creature came back. Creature was curious. Creature had been very close and I hadn't heard or seen a thing. Ninja bear, suboptimal. I found that I was suddenly much more rested than I had been a moment ago, and decided that I could probably manage a bit of a climb down after all. Especially because Betsy the Curious Bruin wasn't being shy anymore. The animal was moving around in the scrub now. I efficiently made my way down the ridge line to a spot from which I could, and did, quickly descend to another lower and parallel game trail. This little maneuver bought me some time to ponder a lifestyle choice and the nature of my current situation. The lifestyle choice in question was my refusal to carry a gun. Guns are heavy and awkward while climbing, and I am no Annie Oakley anyways. I have no qualms about food hunting. That just wasn't why I was there. I preferred to take pictures, and I was pretty good at navigating the local fauna. Had a lot of close encounters that would have given Farley Mowat a rosy glow. Was having another one now. Peeing wasn't going to fix this one, but it was definitely on the table. So was Princess Briding my way down the mountainside to the lake at the bottom. For the record, I swim like a bowling ball. My current situation was that, despite my sneaky drop-down gambit, the terrain wasn't in my favor. The lodge was south. I couldn't go back up and east, because the grizzly had called dibs, and I felt it would be rude for me to argue the point twice in one afternoon. I could still aim west and take the Gravity Express down to the lake, but unless I happened to flag down a rare passing boat, that wouldn't do me much good, and my day was already plenty exciting as it was. The game trail above, and the one I was on, and every single inch of rock, tree, dirt, and bear tracks from the top of that mountain down to the lakeshore far below was north of the lodge. Between us and that lodge, to the south, the local geography would come to a bottleneck. The game trails, the lakeshore, that bear's jaws, and my immense cartographical dissatisfaction would converge just before a field, and if I knew it, then so did that bear. She was having a great time up there above me now too, snorting, snuffling, and laughing at my trapped self. So far, she didn't seem inclined to try her luck at coming directly down the cliff face. So I kept to a steady and predictable pace to keep her from getting any such novel and ambitious notions. By no means was I slowing though. While all of this mental trigonometry was going on, I was forming the beginnings of a concept of an intricate plan to not die. It was unquestionably a poor plan, but I was running out of time and options with every step. You pays your money and you takes your chances. That mischievous and cantankerous bear contentedly shadowed me from above for the next hour or so. As the trails came closer together, we waited to see who was going to blink first. I had already decided it was going to be me. She wasn't that high above me anymore, maybe 30 feet, and at some point she was likely to just give up. After following me for this long, she wasn't going to just pop off to the spot instead. Vengeful bear could really hold a grudge. I had already chosen my spot from a ways back. The cliffside ahead curved away from me, and the angles involved meant she would lose sight. At that point, things were bound to start moving at a brisker pace, so I initiated plans a throughsy and took off as fast as I could. Have I mentioned the elk yet? There were two local herds of elk. You could tell them apart visually, at this time of year, by a neat little difference caused by their grazing habits. They liked to graze at slightly different elevations, and this apparently caused the herd that grazed up by the lodge to start losing coats. They were thereby changing color a couple of weeks earlier than the herd that liked to graze down in the valley around this time of day. The valley I was currently sprinting across at full speed while screaming my head off. A lot of very interesting things started happening. Heads began popping up all over the valley, and large animals of various kinds began shifting locations with commendable adaptability and athleticism. I'm not clear on details, and I didn't stop for pictures, but I do know what an angry grizzly sounds like in person now. Pretty sure I also know how to say "you rascal" in low country elk. There weren't any freshish carcasses the next time I went through, so I marked my karmic will as no harm, no foul. Weren't any elk either though. Wish I could hear their side of the day's events someday. Bet they tell it a whole lot different.